From the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Jessica Bock has been covering the Ferguson-Florissant School Board superintendent controversy with Art McCoy. She joins us now. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning.
Lots going on here. Art McCoy was suspended. We don't know why, right? Ultimately, a few weeks ago?
Well, there's so many suspicions surrounding that. Ultimately, we do know that for some reason, the board and Art McCoy are at odds, and some people have said it was his support of, some school choice, his openness to the student transfers coming in from Normandy and Riverview. There are just a lot of reasons that could be behind it, prevalent ones that we keep hearing.
And so he was suspended with pay back in November. Now, now you report in STLTODAY.com that they're finally going to have a meeting over this?
Right, and what's really interesting about this is that we've seen, school boards separate with superintendents before. It happened in Hazelwood last year, it's happened in Ladue, and typically, there's not a lot that happens publicly. We see some sort of buyout of their contract, and, they just kind of leave quietly. Art McCoy has the right to this type of hearing where the board lays out the charges against him and the reasons why they believe he should be fired. And he is, exercising that right. And whether or not that'll be an open meeting is still up in the air. But I would be surprised if it was. But this is still a really, unusual situation for us to see.
It really is unusual and bizarre in that he's taken it to the press. He's not been shy about singing and talking about this and sort of bringing media attention to this.
Well, I will say that in the beginning when this was all happening, he, did stay behind the scenes. I think he was trying to figure it out himself. Even when he had so many supporters out there with him, I think he, remained a little bit quiet. But I do believe that he truly wants that job in Ferguson-Florissant, and he's willing to fight for it.
And so he's been suspended since November 6th. The community's never really been told why. It's now the end of December. They're just announcing now that they're going to have this meeting. When is this quote-unquote meeting going to take place?
I'm guessing we might see it after the holidays, but, who knows? It's something that I think they do want to wrap up quickly, and, I think obviously the school board wants what's best for the students, too. They want to move forward, and so does Art McCoy, but, as always with contracts and legal issues, these things tend to move sort of slowly.
Who decides if this meeting and this hearing is going to be public?
Well, that can be at the request of Art McCoy, but it's also a board decision as well. So if McCoy requests it, the board will consider it, and they could decide, yes, we will open this up to the public.
And so if they decide to part ways, well, first of all, the board will decide, right? And I'm assuming they would need a majority of them to vote.
Right, which they've had, right. Yeah, so it's sort of Art McCoy's chance to defend himself and give the board, reasons why these charges are invalid or why they should keep him. But ultimately, it's the board's decision.
And when you say charges, does Art McCoy know the reason why they let him go?
According to the school board, yes. They have sent him a letter only recently now laying out the reasons.
And
Art McCoy isn't talking as to what those reasons are?
Not at this point, no.
But it is interesting, though, that he would probably prefer to have this so the public can see it, see the meeting, right?
Well, I don't know about that. I think there would be some concern if the allegations by the board aren't true. If that getting out there, that could really hurt his reputation, too. So I could see his reasons for keeping it closed.
That's a good point, too, yeah. But so he walks in November 6th. He gets suspended with pay. They don't really tell him. And now in a letter at the end of December, they finally tell him the charges against him? That seems awful arbitrary.
Right, and there's been a lot of outcry from the public about that. There are people that believe the school board wanted to get rid of Art McCoy for a long time, and now they simply spent this time, trying to gather evidence against him. because he's not going quietly.
Yeah. He's pretty well liked by the students and the teachers and the parents, right?
Students love him. Parents love him. I don't know about teachers. I mean, he has had him implement a lot of things that are difficult these days. New teacher evaluations, budget cuts. So you never really know, I mean, exactly how popular a superintendent is with teachers, but we definitely haven't seen teachers up there saying, yes, he should go.
Yeah, and the one rumor out there, floating out there, is that there's a sort of fight between him and this other teacher who's now on the school board because he ousted him. I mean, how much validity do you put into that story?
I don't know. Paul Morris, the school board president, he was a former teacher, and he left the district just as McCoy was sort of rising to superintendent. And I think Paul Morris felt pushed out as a teacher, and that maybe he didn't have the support of McCoy at that time, or didn't like the way that things were headed. And so there's been allegations that he had this personal vendetta and wanted to get rid of him. He has denied those. But, it's just an interesting dynamic when you've got a former teacher on the school board, who's now trying to fire his former boss.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. Jessica Bock with us from STLTODAY.com. You can read all about it in the newspaper or online. Jessica, great work as always. Stay tuned. I guess some fireworks come January when all this picks up again, right?
I think so. We'll see.
Jessica, great work. Thanks for checking in, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You got it. Merry Christmas. Jessica Bock, STLTODAY.com. This Florissant-Ferguson school board story is unbelievable. Art McCoy is, from all accounts, teachers and parents love him, and ruffled some teachers the wrong way, and school board is suspended him with pay and told him 2 months later why he was.
And you, right there, you brought up a great point. They suspended him last month, and not only until now did they send him a letter outlining what they think would be cause for dismissal.
Yeah. I
wonder why it took so long.
I hope he sings. I hope he invites everybody in.
Yeah.
Come on in. Everybody in. Let's see what they say.
It'd be really interesting.